Hey there everyone, today we're going to go over the top 5 strategies to help defeat Whitney and her dreaded Miltank. Cause let's face it, at the point of the game you fight Whitney, Miltank is a pretty beefy Pokemon to take down, and also surprisingly fast. Look at that speed stat. The moves it knows don't help either. If you don't overlevel, it's very possible that you're in for a rough fight, unless you use some of the Pokemon and moves on display in this video. Without further ado, let's get started. Number 5 is a high-risk, high-reward strategy that hits Miltank's biggest weakness, its somewhat low special defense. In Goldenrod City, the game corner that was present in Gold Silver Crystal is now replaced with an old man wanting to watch you play Voltorb Flip. If you get up to level 3 or 4 of the game, you should have an easy 200 coins that allows you to purchase an Abra that comes at level 15, one level shy of evolving. If you're capable of trading the Abra after it evolves to a Kadabra, you'll have an Alakazam, which is the only member of the Abra family that can learn Focus Blast. Focus Blast is a TM that can be bought in the department store, and it's an extremely powerful fighting type move that uses Alakazam's monstrous special attack, but it only has 70 accuracy. Still, leading off with a Confusion and then hitting a Focus Blast should be enough damage to defeat Miltank, so you just need to hit the one time. I'll reiterate though, that Kadabra cannot learn Focus Blast. You need to have an Alakazam, meaning if you can't trade, you can't use the strategy, which is why it's at number 5. Now, there are other Pokemon you can get at this point of the game that learn Focus Blast, but they either require some grinding to evolve them, or a Moonstone, which your mother sometimes buys you one, so it's completely luck-based whether you get one or not. Number 4 is another high-risk, high-reward one, but this one is used in speedruns. If you pick Cyndaquil at the start of the game, you can teach it Fire Blast via TM, which you can buy the Fire Blast TM in, once again, the department store in Goldenrod. You can also get a Charcoal to boost the power of fire moves by 20% from a house in Azalea Town after getting the Farfetch'd back for the kid in Ilex Forest. With the Charcoal held, Fire Blast is a 2-hit KO, but Quilava's ability is Blaze, which boosts the power of fire moves by a further 50% if you're at 30% or less HP. So if you happen to take enough damage, you can quite possibly kill the Miltank in one hit with Fire Blast. However, in addition to the flinch chance from Stomp, you also have to worry about Attract, unless you reset for a female Cyndaquil, which, good luck. Only 1 out of 8 Cyndaquil are female, so you might be at it for a while. And this only works because this Miltank has Scrappy for its ability, rather than Thick Fat, meaning it does not reduce the damage from fire and ice moves by 50%. Thank God. Number 3 is a bit of a stalled approach. On Route 34, just below Goldenrod, you can headbutt the trees and possibly find an Execute. Now, Execute learns the perfect combination of moves to hold its own quite well against the dreaded cow. You have Reflect to reduce the amount of damage you take, Leech Seed to damage a Miltank and recover some HP at the same time every turn, and either Hypnosis or Stun Spore to inflict an annoying status condition. Now, Miltank holds a Lumberry in Heart Gold Soul Silver, which cures any status condition when it's inflicted, so you'll have to use Hypnosis or Stun Spore twice in order for it to stick, but between Reflect and Leech Seed, you'll have plenty of time to do this. The biggest downside to the strategy is that Execute doesn't inflict much damage itself, so you're gonna want something that's capable of hitting hard once you're all set up, which brings us to number 2. Miltank has only one weakness, and it's the fighting type. We covered this a little bit earlier with Alakazam and Focus Blast, but if you're looking for a more consistent option, unfortunately, you're gonna have to use physical moves, which Miltank's physical defense is pretty good. Luckily, there's a solid couple of options here. First, there's Pinsir from the Bug Catching Contest. At level 18, it learns Revenge, which, the way that move works is you go last, and if the target deals damage to you, Revenge strikes with double the power. This does some serious damage, and Pinsir also has access to Bind for some chip damage, although its accuracy could be a bit better. There's also Heracross, which is an amazing Pokemon for a good chunk of the gym leaders in the game. Heracross learns Brick Break at level 19, and gets stabbed from the move too, unlike Pinsir with Revenge. The tricky part is finding a Heracross, as it's a Headbutt Pokemon, but it's only found on certain trees. You can tell which trees these are when you get in an encounter, as the Pokemon that pop out of them will be at a drastically lower level, than the other trees. For what it's worth, I've played through the start of Park World Soul Silver a few times recently, and this tree right here has always contained Heracross. It's easy to remember because you just hold up while standing between Kurt's house and the apricorn tree next to it. And the number one most recommended strategy for dealing with Whitney's Miltank is lowering its speed. The biggest problem with Miltank, in my opinion, is that it's most likely going to outspeed you and use Stomp, causing a 30% chance to flinch you, which essentially gives Miltank a free turn. You can eliminate that flinch chance by simply lowering its speed, like with Paralysis for example. The best Pokemon for this is probably Flaffy, although Execute from number 3 is another good option. I recommend Flaffy in particular because not only does Flaffy learn Thunder Wave early on, but its ability is static, which gives it a 30% chance of paralyzing the target if they make contact with you. Stomp and Rollout both make contact with Flaffy, meaning anytime Miltank tries to damage you, it has a 30% chance of getting paralyzed. Now, because of Miltank's Slum Berry, the first time it gets paralyzed, it'll automatically get healed of said paralysis, so you'll have to inflict paralysis a second time for it to stick. But it's very possible for this to happen in one turn because of static, effectively resulting in no wasted time. In addition, Mareep learns Cotton Spore at level 19 and Flaffy learns it at level 20 for an 85% chance at sharply lowering Miltank's speed stat and not having to worry about the Lum Berry. And before we end today's video, I'd like to give a special shout out to a 6th strategy, Intimidate. Upon switching in, a Pokemon with the ability Intimidate will lower the opponent's attack by 1 stage, meaning you basically get a Growlithe just for being sent into the battle. If you have 2 Pokemon with Intimidate on your team, you can just swap them in and out to quickly get Miltank's attack as low as it can go, making those Stomp flinches a little less annoying because you'll be taking so little damage from them. Stantler in particular is a funny option here because it also learns Sand Attack, meaning you're also able to lower Miltank's accuracy, making it less likely to hit its moves. So which one of these strategies was your favorite? Do you have a strategy that I didn't know about? Leave a comment below letting me know, I'd love to hear from you. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to one Lord McAfee over on my Patreon. He's been a fantastic supporter and I thank him very much for all the love he's given. I'd like to give thanks to my other patrons too, on screen here. If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the description for a link to my Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.